Now at noon, Florida State University students say they're shaken but not surprised following Thursday's mass shooting.
It sent a chill down my spine seeing that same alert.
Plus, the state of Washington challenging an executive order by President Donald Trump will soon have an audience with the nation's highest court. And in Portland, PGE's plan to install transmission lines in Forest Park delayed for now.
Cutting any amount of forest would cause a deep, profound loss.
And in southern Oregon, we see how a volcanic eruption millions of years ago created a nature wonder that you can visit today. Thanks for joining us at noon. I'm China Green. Highway 26 is back open again after a crash involving a semi caused a mess on the roads. It happened near milepost 48, about 5 miles west of Government Camp, just before 6:30 this morning. A semi was hauling a load of hay you see there when it was involved in a crash with an SUV. The SUV driver was seriously hurt and had to be life flighted. We talked to another semi driver delayed by the crash, but he said it wasn't too much an issue.
Oh, I've waited these out before. I mean, 5-6 hours. Heck, if it's going to take all night, I'll just climb in the bunk and go to sleep. But I mean, it's not going to be that much. They got the corner going up there. It won't be that long.
The crash remains under investigation this afternoon. Timberline Lodge said ski operations were affected, but lifts were scheduled to operate as normal.
There's some yelling, maybe some screaming. So I look up, I stand up from where I'm eating, I turn around out of the table, and all these people are running towards me.
We're learning more about yesterday's mass shooting at Florida State University that we first broke to you here at noon. We now know that 2 victims have died, 6 others were hurt, and the alleged gunman is in custody. Police in Tallahassee say 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner opened fire just before noon Thursday near the school's student union. Thursday's shooting was not the first for students, several of whom lived in Parkland during the 2018 high school shooting that left 17 dead.
It sent a chill down my spine seeing that same alert.
This is the only country where this regularly happens, and every time it happens, we hear there's nothing that can be done about it.
Florida State University police say the 2 killed were not students at the school. Back in Oregon, Silverton High School canceled school and athletic events for today. Police say that they got a computer-generated call yesterday about an incident at the school but found no threat. Police say they were aware of a, quote, implied threat to the high school for today and canceled school and activities out of abundance of caution today. This comes after Silverton High School went into lockdown last week after a report of a possible shooting the officers also found wasn't credible. The district said in a statement today that the schools that stayed open will see additional police presence. Turning now to weather with meteorologist Rod Hill. Beautiful day out there.
Yeah, just gorgeous. Boy, what a Monday through Friday it has been. It will stay sunny. It looks like the remainder of this afternoon. You can see the high pressure systems overhead. Not much of a breeze out there. These clouds contain some rain, and they will be coming in first thing tomorrow morning. We'll get more into your weekend forecast coming up in about 10 minutes. But for now, for the remainder of today, it's sunny skies, including at the coast. There's the Astoria column camera, 61 degrees, a light north-northwest wind. Clear skies in Lincoln City from our Snookwinds Casino Resort camera, light north winds, 56 degrees. Salem, good afternoon to you, 62. Your winds are calm. Remember that surface eye is pretty much right over us, so there's no pressure gradient. Nothing pulling wind one way or the other, and the wind flows generally, again, light from the north. We're at 63. This is going to be approaching Monday. Monday was 77. That's the warmest we've been so far this week. Yesterday was 72. I've got us up to 76 today, and then a nice Friday evening. Probably we will start to see some increasing cloudiness this evening, but any rain won't be until we get into the early morning hours of tomorrow. And again, we'll have the update for that Easter weekend forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rod. The state of Washington's challenge to President Trump's birthright citizenship order is heading to the Supreme Court. Birthright citizenship is in the Constitution, making anyone born in the U.S. an American citizen. In January, President Trump issued an executive order trying to end it. He says that he's happy the Supreme Court will hear arguments and says he believes the case has been misunderstood.
It's all about slavery, and if you look at it that way, we should win that case.
Now, what he's referring to right there is a birthright citizenship clause in the 14th Amendment, which made former slaves who weren't born here citizens. Changing that would require a constitutional amendment passed by Congress and the states. A professor of constitutional law at Seattle University believes that is highly unlikely.
Even though I don't think that the odds are very high that they're going to win on this one, it reflects who the administration is and what their priorities are.
The Supreme Court is set to hear the case on May 15th. Meanwhile, Washington Senator Patty Murray took a walk through downtown Vancouver yesterday, getting a look at how federal funding is reshaping Main Street. Vancouver is in the process of revitalizing 10-block section of Main Street. More than half of the project is being funded through federal dollars. Senator Murray and a group of city leaders heard from local businesses about the impacts of recent tariffs. And the first stop here, a small record store that was trying to keep their prices down by buying used because they say the tariffs would be passed on to consumers with new products.
Interesting to hear to a little company that sells vinyl records that they're worried about the tariff imports. They said much of their product actually comes from Czech Republic, and they didn't know or don't know yet whether that's going to have an impact from tariffs.
President Trump has maintained that the tariffs will bring new jobs and manufacturing to the states. In Oregon, a decades-old cold case has finally come to a close in Washington County. A jury convicted an Oregon man for his wife's murder yesterday, nearly 40 years after she was killed. In 1988, Robert Atrep's wife, Debbie, was found strangled to death in the trunk of her car. The case went cold for decades. A few years ago, detectives uncovered new DNA evidence and a motive that prosecutors say tied Atrep's to the murder.
He learned that she was having a relationship with somebody at her work, and she had actually told family and friends that if he finds out about this relationship, he will kill me. And that was within a week of her murder. She said that he had found out and had asked her about it.
Atrep's will be sentenced on May 20th. Prosecutors will ask for life in prison or a minimum of 25 years. Atrep's is currently being held at the Washington County Jail. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office identified the missing kayaker who witnesses saw go over Willamette Falls in Oregon City last weekend. He is 20-year-old Marcelis Angelo Rodriguez from Porterville, California. His body still hasn't been found. He arrived in town last Saturday with his family and went missing that night while he was kayaking. The Sheriff's Office says several people called 911 after seeing him in distress, and one witness says they saw him trying to swim to shore. Yesterday was the last day of Black Maternal Health Week. It's intended to call attention to health outcomes for Black mothers. Kaiser Permanente said Black women are nearly 3.5 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women in the United States. That's why lawmakers in Oregon are trying to take action for Black women. Certain barriers to prenatal and postpartum care can lead to not getting the care they need.
Across the state, what we need is to really invest in our perinatal workforce. We need it to also be culturally responsive and culturally specific so that people can see themselves reflected in their health care.
Senate Bill 692 includes policies aimed at giving pregnant women in Oregon everything they need to help them and their baby thrive. That includes access to doulas and postpartum care. The bill is currently in the Budget Committee. Coming up tonight on KGW News, our investigative teams dive into nitrous oxide, also known as laughing gas. It's being sold in big, colorful tanks with candy-like flavors, but health officials warn that the misuse can lead to serious problems, and in some cases, it can be deadly. Here's KGW investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi with a preview of his report.
The Oregon Poison Center reports there's been a spike in dangerous incidents involving nitrous oxide, including a Gresham couple left temporarily paralyzed after misusing the gas. Vito Oliveri and his fiancée Emily Shuford have trouble with strength and balance due to nerve damage caused by inhaling nitrous oxide, also known as laughing gas.
I completely lost it and I couldn't walk. I had to physically learn how to walk again.
For years, people have inhaled the small canisters used to make whipped cream or whippets to get a brief high. But recently, health officials have become increasingly concerned about nitrous oxide and its potential harm. In mid-March, the FDA warned intentional misuse of nitrous oxide can lead to serious adverse health events, including death. Data from the Oregon Poison Center shows a spike in cases from 15 calls in 2023 to 56 last year.
The increased
use is being seen very prominently among young people, so ages 20 to 40, but particularly 20 to 29.
A doctor at OHSU believes this surge in cases could be linked to social media, increased availability, and creative marketing. We found several smoke shops in the Portland area selling large, brightly colored canisters of nitrous oxide with fruity flavors like juicy peach, cosmic grape, and watermelon eclipse. So what's being done about it? Coming up tonight at 6, a closer look at efforts in Oregon and around the country to restrict access. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.
Portland City Council has decided not to move forward, at least for now, with a proposal from PGE to install transmission lines in Forest Park. So instead of council decided with the people appealing the plans after nearly 5 hours of testimony. So before yesterday's hearing, dozens of concerned neighbors and environmental groups rallied outside Portland City Hall. They're pushing back against the proposal to cut down roughly 400 trees in Forest Park to make way for a transmission line, a line PGE says is necessary to meet growing energy demand.
At the end of the day, whether it's big or small, cutting any amount of forest would cause a deep, profound loss.
This is 5 acres of Forest Park. We're talking about streams, wetlands, irreplaceable. Probably would take a century or more to get back what we're losing.
Now on the other side here, PGE says that there are no feasible alternatives for the transmission line, adding it plans to restore the project area by planting more than 900 trees and thousands of native plants. City Council will take a second vote on this issue next month on May 7th.